All right, let's dive right in. We're tackling one of the biggest questions facing millions of Americans right now. Where can you possibly build a great career and actually afford to live a great life? It's a really tough equation to solve, so let's break down the variables.
Okay, so first things first, let's get our terms straight. When we talk about a living wage, we're not talking about luxury. Not at all. It's the absolute baseline income you need to cover the essentials. Housing, food, healthcare. It's that basic floor for economic stability.
And here is the problem in a nutshell. I mean, look at this. The federal minimum wage has been stuck at $7.25 an hour for over a decade. But for a family of four to actually get by, each working adult needs to earn more than 3 times that amount. This massive gap, well, it's forcing people to rethink everything.
So let's look at the first part of this equation, the classic high wage, high cost trap. And honestly, there's no better example of this right now than the modern California dream.
Just let this number sink in for a moment. To buy a typical, median-priced home in California, your household needs to bring in nearly $250,000 a year. That is more than double the state's median household income. The dream is just colliding with a very, very harsh financial reality.
And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of what's called the golden handcuff effect. You've got all these current homeowners with these unbelievably low mortgage rates, so they just can't afford to move. Their monthly payments would absolutely skyrocket. This locks up the entire housing market, making it almost impossible for anyone new to buy in. So you have to be asking, with costs this insane, why stay? And the answer is pretty simple. The jobs are truly world-class. California's major hubs are absolute powerhouses for careers in tech, entertainment, and biotech. The opportunity is real, for sure, but the price of admission is just staggering. So, faced with that pretty much impossible trade-off, millions of Americans are, well, they're voting with their feet. They're searching for a better balance, and in the process, they're creating these new opportunity zones all across the country. This is the big question, isn't it? If those traditional high-cost hubs are becoming basically unattainable, where is the smart money, and maybe more importantly, where is the smart talent actually going? Well, the answer seems to lie in the Sun Belt and the Mountain West. People are absolutely flocking to cities like Raleigh, Dallas, and Nashville because they found a new formula. You get that dynamic job growth plus a much more manageable cost of living. I mean, the math here is just so simple and so powerful. A salary that can't even get you a starter home in California can comfortably secure a great family lifestyle in a place like Raleigh or Minneapolis. We're talking about housing costs that can be less than a third of the price, which just completely changes the entire financial picture. Okay, but it's not just about where you live, right? It's also about what you do for a living. So let's look at the career playbook that's providing a really clear path to a living wage no matter where you are in the country. When you really dig in and analyze all the data, the most resilient, in-demand, and accessible living wage careers, they all seem to fall into 3 key sectors. You can think of these as the 3 pillars of the modern American economy. First up, healthcare. The demand here isn't just strong, it's massive, and it's long-term, mostly driven by our aging population. Take a registered nurse, a career you can often get into with just a 2-year associate's degree. They're earning a median salary well above the national living wage. And just how big is that opportunity? Well, the U.S. is projected to need to fill nearly 190,000 registered nursing positions every single year for the next decade. That, my friends, is what a structural shortage looks like. Okay, next up, our second pillar, technology. No surprise here, right? Tech is the engine for high-paying jobs across literally every industry you can imagine. Roles like software developer command a median salary of over $130,000 a year. That's a powerful pathway to financial security. And that demand, it's not slowing down one bit. We're talking about an estimated 129,000 openings for software developers every single year for the foreseeable future. It's just relentless. And finally, let's talk about our third pillar, the skilled trades. With an older workforce retiring and these huge new investments in infrastructure, trades like electricians are facing a crisis-level shortage. This creates a fantastic opportunity. And get this, often with paid on-the-job training through apprentices.
and this translates directly to incredible job security. We're talking over 80,000 openings for electricians expected every year. It is powerful, powerful proof that a 4-year degree is not the only path to a stable middle-class career in America anymore.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. There is no single best place to live or best career to have. The real goal here is to use all this information to solve your own personal equation based on what truly matters most to you. A really great way to approach this is by thinking about your life stage. A young professional just starting out has totally different priorities than a family with kids or a remote worker who has a ton of flexibility. Each group really needs a different strategy. So if you're just starting out, maybe the intense energy and networking of a major hub is worth the high cost for a while. But you have to remember, these other growth markets, they offer so much of the same opportunity at just a fraction of the price. It's a really powerful trade-off to think about. But for families, the equation just completely shifts. Suddenly, your priorities become top-tier schools, safety, and having some space to breathe. And on that front, the Midwest and parts of the South, like the Research Triangle in North Carolina, offer an absolutely incredible value proposition.
And if you're a remote worker, well, you have the ultimate superpower. It's called geographic arbitrage. It means you can completely decouple your high salary from a high cost of living. Earning a San Francisco salary while living in Charleston, for a lot of people, that is the new American dream. So as we wrap all this up, the choice is really no longer just about finding a job. It's about designing a life. You now know the key variables. You know the trade-offs. So the only question left to answer is, what does your perfect equation look like?